She mocked her best friend for selling pure water. 5 years later, she knocked on her mansion gate. The security dog nearly tore Chioma's dress apart as she banged desperately on the black iron gate at midnight, rain soaking her hair while 2 armed guards pointed flashlights directly into her swollen eyes. "Please," she screamed. "Tell Madam Amara that Chioma is here. Tell her old friend came back." One guard laughed harshly. "Madam does not see beggars at this hour." Chioma collapsed to her knees, clutching her little daughter tightly as thunder exploded above the mansion. At that exact moment, the upstairs balcony light suddenly came on. 5 years earlier, the same Chioma had stood in the middle of Oji Market mocking Amara loudly while villagers laughed around them. Amara balanced a tray of sachet water on her head under the burning sun while sweat rolled down her neck. "So this is your future?" Chioma asked mockingly. "Selling pure water because of one poor mechanic?" The women nearby burst into laughter. Amara swallowed the shame quietly. Beside her stood Keod, his stained overalls covered in engine oil after repairing motorcycles all morning. He lowered his eyes as the insults continued. Chioma wrapped her expensive lace tighter around her body and smirked proudly. "Chief Ben will never allow me suffer like this. Some women marry smart. Others marry poverty." Even the traders laughed harder. But Amara shocked everyone with her response. "A man who walks with his hands will never stay poor forever." The market suddenly went silent. If viewers were already feeling angry for Amara, they needed to stay till the end because destiny was quietly preparing something terrifying. 3 months later, Amara followed KO to Ibadan with only 1 bag and 7,000 naira hidden inside her wrapper. Their room was so tiny that rats ran across their legs every night. Some evenings, they shared 1 loaf of bread and water before sleeping hungry. Yet KO woke before sunrise daily, fixing damaged motorcycles beside the dusty roadside until midnight. Amara refused to complain. She started selling sachet water under the hot traffic bridge while drivers shouted insults at her. One afternoon, a woman buying water whispered, "You are too beautiful to suffer like this." Amara smiled weakly. Suffering is temporary. But secretly, fear was already eating her alive. Every night, she wondered whether Chioma had been right all along. Meanwhile, Chioma's life in Warri looked like paradise from outside. Chief Ben bought her gold chains, expensive phones, and luxury wigs that made village girls envy her instantly. Anytime she posted pictures online, villagers forwarded them around proudly. "Chioma has made it," they kept saying. But behind those glamorous photos hid something ugly. Chief Ben never allowed her ask questions. Whenever she mentioned marriage, his face darkened immediately. "Do not pressure me," he warned coldly one evening. "You already live better than most wives." Chioma ignored the warning signs because the money blinded her. Then one night, she overheard 2 housemaids whispering in the kitchen. "Madam thinks she is the only woman," one said carefully. "She has no idea another woman is moving into the main house next month." Chioma's blood turned cold instantly. Back in Ibadan, things became even harder for Amara and KO after armed thieves attacked his roadside workshop and stole almost every tool he owned. KO sat silently outside their room that night staring into darkness. "Maybe everybody was right," he muttered painfully. "Maybe I dragged you into suffering." Amara grabbed his hands immediately. "Never say that again." The next morning, she shocked him by borrowing money to start selling cooked rice beside a busy bus stop. The business exploded faster than anyone expected. Drivers lined up daily, praising her food and honesty. Soon she added cold drinks and bread. Then she began saving profits secretly inside an old paint bucket beneath their bed. One evening, Keod returned home holding a contract letter with trembling fingers. A transport company wanted him to repair all their delivery bikes monthly. Amara screamed so loudly that neighbors rushed outside thinking somebody had died. The money finally started flowing, but success brought new enemies. Other mechanics accused Keod of using charms because customers abandoned their workshops for his. One jealous rival even sent thugs to destroy his signboard at night. "Leave this area if you value your life," the men warned before disappearing into darkness. Keod wanted revenge immediately, but Amara stopped him. "Poor people fight," she said firmly. "Wise people grow quietly." If viewers still believed patience never pays, what happened next would shock them completely. Chioma's world collapsed the same week. She returned unexpectedly from a salon appointment and froze outside Chief Ben's bedroom after hearing another woman laughing inside. Her heart pounded violently as she pushed the door open. A younger woman sat comfortably on the bed wearing Chioma's silk robe. Chief Ben did not even look ashamed. "Meet Angela," he said calmly. "She is my legal wife." Chioma almost fainted. "Wife," she whispered. "After everything." Chief Ben stood slowly. "You are comfortable here, but do not forget your position." The argument exploded instantly. Insults flew across the room like bullets until Chief Ben shouted words that destroyed her completely. "This house was never yours." 3 days later, security guards dumped her clothes outside the compound gate while neighbors watched silently. Nobody helped her. 5 years after mocking Amara publicly, Chioma entered Oji again carrying one torn bag and her sleepy daughter under heavy rain. Villagers stared at her in disbelief. Before she could hide her shame, another shock spread through the town. A convoy of black SUVs suddenly drove through the muddy road toward a gigantic cream-colored mansion at the hilltop. Children chased the vehicles excitedly while women screamed in amazement. "It is Amara," somebody shouted. Chioma's mouth slowly opened as she watched Amara step out elegantly beside Keod, now one of the biggest motorcycle parts dealers in the state. The same villagers who once mocked them rushed forward smiling shamelessly. But Amara's eyes stopped only on Chioma standing silently in the rain. That was how Chioma found herself kneeling outside the mansion gate hours later, drenched and trembling beside her hungry child. Upstairs, Amara stared through the balcony for several silent seconds before speaking softly to the guards. "Open the gate." Chioma entered slowly, unable to lift her head from shame. Inside the mansion, warm lights reflected across sparkling floors while the smell of rich soup filled the air. Chioma suddenly burst into tears. "I destroyed my own life," she cried bitterly. Amara remained quiet before finally replying, "No. Pride destroyed it." Then she shocked everyone again. She turned toward the maids and said calmly, "Prepare the guest room for her and the child." Chioma looked up in disbelief. "After everything I said to you?" Amara nodded slowly. Pain should teach people, not turn them wicked. If that touched viewers emotionally, they should like the video, subscribe, and share their thoughts because not everybody remembers kindness after becoming successful. As thunder rumbled outside again, Chioma realized the woman she once mocked for selling pure water had become the very person saving her life. The following morning, news spread across Oji faster than wildfire. Villagers gathered outside the mansion whispering about destiny, regret, and the cruelty of life. Some secretly expected Amara to humiliate Chioma publicly, but instead they watched her hand Chioma keys to a small food shop beside the market road. Chioma's hands shook uncontrollably. "Why are you helping me after I laughed at your suffering?" she asked quietly. Amara looked directly into her eyes. "Because somebody once helped me when nobody believed in me." At that moment, Keod carried Chioma's little daughter playfully across the compound, and the child burst into laughter for the first time in months. Chioma covered her face and cried harder than before. Deep inside, she finally understood the painful truth wealth had hidden from her for years. A peaceful life built slowly with love will always outlive flashy comfort built on pride and deception. If this story moved you emotionally, kindly subscribe now, because tomorrow's blessing may arrive disguised as today's struggle for someone.